So it is Tuesday, September the 25th, the year 2012, and as usual, a lot to get to in the sports world, so let's get it going right now. Last night, the Monday Night Football game in Seattle. Seattle beats Green Bay 14-12 in just a complete debacle at the end of this game. You know, over the summer, when they were talking about using replacement referees, I said, why? I said, why would the NFL even want to go down that road? The NFL makes billions and billions of dollars each year, and they're going to sit here and haggle with the real refs about some pension plan? Give the real refs what they want, and let's move on. The NFL is too big for this. I mean, they put these games in the hands of replacement refs, and you get what you get last night. Seattle is down 12-7. Last play of the game, Russell Wilson throws the ball up for a Hail Mary. Golden Tate and the Green Bay defender are jostling for it. It looks like Green Bay has a clear interception. Golden Tate does have maybe an arm around the ball, but it looks like Green Bay has possession. One referee says it's an interception. The other referee seems to overrule him and say it's simultaneous, which means it goes to the offense and it's a touchdown. They rule touchdown. Then they go to replay. They're not sure if they can replay it or not. They come back and say the call stands. Crowd goes crazy in Seattle. Seattle wins 14-12. And Green Bay is just heartbroken. I mean, what a way to lose a game on a just horrendous call. And the NFL has set themselves up for this all year. They should not be using replacement refs. I mean, a money issue in the NFL, they make gazillion dollars a year. Come on now. I mean, and that wasn't the only bad call. We've seen bad calls for the first 3 weeks. In this game, there was another horrible call on Green Bay. They called Green Bay for pass interference when Seattle needed 30 yards for a first down. It looked like more like offensive pass interference than defensive pass interference. That was an awful call. On Green Bay's touchdown, they got a good call. They called Seattle for pass interference. That extended that drive. That looked like a bad call. So the bad calls are all over the place, and I really hate talking about officiating, but I mean, the NFL has to be bigger than this. They are bigger than this, and this is the owner's fault and the commissioner's fault. And don't forget, the commissioner works for the owners. This is the owner's fault. Why would they want this to go on? And then the silliness at the end of the game. Seattle wins 13-12, and by rule, you have to kick the extra point even though there's no time left. So Green Bay and Seattle are back in the locker room. They have to get him out for a meaningless extra point to make it 14-12. Makes no sense to me at all. If you're going to bring the teams back onto the field for that, at least make it where the defense can either run back like a blocked extra point for 2 points. Give them some incentive to be out there. I mean, I know if that was the case, you know, Seattle wouldn't have kicked the extra point anyway. They would have went for 2 and just kneeled on the ball. But at least give the defense something to go out there for. You bring them out there with no time left and say, all right, Seattle's got to kick an extra point after we just robbed you, and you got to sit there and take it. I mean, that's another rule that needs to be blown up. So just a complete mess. And you know what the shame of this all is? This was a good game. First of all, the fans in Seattle are tremendous. It's one of the best home fields. The fans there are great. They are really great. They do a great job from start to finish. I was so impressed with the Seattle defense yesterday. I mean, 8 sacks. I know they had them all in the first half, but still, 8 sacks? I mean, that's unheard of. Teams don't get that in a season. They got it in a half. Their defense looked ferocious. They looked just as good as the Arizona defense. I was so impressed with Seattle's defense. We're not used to seeing Seattle have a defense like that. Pete Carroll doing a great job with that team. Now, they're challenged offensively, and I still don't know about Russell Wilson. I mean, he was a really good quarterback in college. I know he beat out Matt Flynn, who the Seahawks signed in the offseason, and they actually paid Matt Flynn a lot of money, and he's the backup now. I don't know about Russell Wilson. He's undersized. He seems like a competitor. He seems like a winner. But I don't know how much of an upside you can have with him. And you do have Matt Flynn sitting behind him making a lot of money. We don't know about Matt Flynn either. But I'm not sure about Russell Wilson as the quarterback taking you to the promised land. The offense is a little challenge as well. They have a really good running back in Lynch. Their receivers I would call okay. I wouldn't say they're great. I mean, Golden Tate is okay. But Seattle is a little challenged offensively, but their defense is great. Having said that, they stole this game from Green Bay. They stole it. It was an interception. Green Bay should have won. Imagine the flight home from Seattle to Green Bay after you just lost a game like that. I mean, just a complete debacle at the end of the game. And the NFL has no one to blame but themselves. And it's too bad we're not talking about what a great game this was, because it was a really, really good game. And I was so impressed with the Seattle crowd and the Seattle defense. So that's that. Anyway, moving on to baseball. Just checking the standings real quick. In the National League, we're pretty set of who's going to make the playoffs. Washington, Cincinnati, and San Francisco all going to win their division. The two wild cards are going to be Atlanta and St. Louis. I mean, all the other teams are fading out, whether it be the Dodgers or the Phillies or the Diamondbacks or the Brewers. I don't think any of these teams are going to make it. So I think you're going to get Atlanta and St. Louis in the wild card. As far as the American League, you're going to have Texas. Right now, the Yankees are a game and a half over Baltimore. After the Yankees win last night, Baltimore loses. White Sox are 1 over Detroit. It looked like Detroit was going to tie them last night, but the White Sox come back and beat Cleveland. Adam Dunn, a huge home run. The real race is this wild card. I mean, you have Baltimore, who is 2 games up over Oakland, for the 1 wild card, and then you have you have Baltimore leading the wild card, and you have Oakland 2 up on the Angels. So the Angels are only 2 back of Oakland. Last week it was 5. So the Angels have really come on strong. They swept the White Sox over the weekend. So the Angels are still alive, and Oakland has lost 3 or 4. So keep an eye on that. Oakland has to play a lot of games with Texas, and the Angels have to play a lot of games with Seattle. So the Angels are not out of this yet. Tampa is still in it, 3 back. So you have the Angels chasing Oakland. You have the Angels chasing Baltimore as well, although Baltimore leads the wild card right now. Oakland is the one that's, hanging on by a thread. Detroit, only a game back of the White Sox. Baltimore, a game and a half back of the Yankees. So those are your real races right now in baseball. So tonight, definitely keep an eye on baseball. You have Toronto at Baltimore, Yankees at Minnesota, Oakland at Texas, Seattle at the Angels, KC at Detroit, Cleveland at the White Sox, and even Tampa Bay at Boston. All these games have playoff ramifications, so keep an eye on baseball tonight. We get a little break from football for a day or two, and we needed it after last night. Tomorrow we're going to touch all on the baseball from tonight, and we're going to touch on all the college football coming up over the weekend. Thursday we're going to make all our NFL picks, so we have a lot to do the rest of this week. So you guys enjoy the baseball games tonight. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Take care.